What?
Bryce Harper?
Bryce Harper. Any of the guys that the Giants were rumored to be in on. Do you think that would have changed your philosophy at all? Because when you have a star player like that, you ain't platooning Bryce Harper, Aaron Judge, Carlos Correa.
Absolutely. I mean, when you think about it, you look around the game and, teams have basically 4-man benches, really 3-man benches when you count the backup catcher. Every team in baseball has 1, 2, or 3 platoons. That's just a fact. It's a question of how you're using your benches, but everybody uses it for at least 1 platoon, sometimes 2 or 3. And, you look at the Dodgers. The Dodgers are actually a very platoon-heavy team. But to your point, AJ, they've got Ohtani and Betts and Freeman who are in the top 3 spots of the lineup every day. So I think when you don't have that star player that you can anchor things around, it just gets noisier. The platooning thing becomes a bigger story because, maybe you're platooning, at the top of the lineup or the middle of the lineup instead of the bottom of the lineup where people seem more okay with it. So I do think, having a core of everyday players, 4, 5, 6, everyday players, and then platooning sort of with the complementary parts of your roster, that's very workable. And that was one of the really shortfalls that we had, is not being able to sign one of those star players that you mentioned. And it put a lot of focus and attention on the fact that even our frontline guys we were using in matchups at times.
Okay, why then? Why'd you miss out on these guys? Because I played in San Francisco. It's a great place. Fan base is strong. Even if they like you or dislike you, they let you know. They came out to every game.
Tough ballpark.
Yeah.
Not for you, but
I had
for
a good
hitters,
year that year, so I don't know. I did fine. I wasn't very bottom.
It's a great question. And, when I look back, when you're talking about Harper, Judge, Ohtani, these are like 3 of the 5 best players in baseball. So I guess we took some big swings. Obviously, what happened with Carlos Correa was very unfortunate. But we took big swings. And with each of those guys, I think Bryce had some concerns about the ballpark. That can happen at times when you're trying to sign a position player, not always, but it's something that position players have some concerns with. Some guys are just East Coast guys and want to prefer to be there. I look at Aaron Judge. I mean, he had a legacy with the New York Yankees, one of the signature franchises in baseball, and it was kind of hard to pull him away from that. We tried, but ultimately didn't work. And then, you look at Shohei, he was building a house in Southern California. Obviously, the Dodgers have been really successful. So I don't know that there's really a common thread. We took some swings, and they were swings and misses, and I take responsibility for that. But, I really pushed back hard on this narrative that nobody wants to play in San Francisco. Nobody wants to play for the Giants. It's a great city. It's a great organization. I have been so happy in my time in San Francisco, and I wish the organization the best. And I know they're going to continue to be able to attract players. And, Willy Adames a couple weeks ago is just the last example of that.
Take us into that room. Take us into the room when Judge and you and...
Let's say this. If they were in the same free agent class, not separate free agent classes, and you were still with the Giants, and the Giants ownership said you have this much money to go spend on one of them, maybe that's a better way to put it.
But they're different ages. You're saying when Ohtani was like 30, 31.
Ohtani was, 29, and Soto was 26. Yeah. And they said, Farhan, you have a blank check to write to one of these guys. Who are you signing?
I would sign Shohei, but you're really talking about options 1A and 1B. I think with Shohei...
Oh, that's such a cop-out.
No, he said Shohei.
I know, he said Shohei.
Hey, the Dodgers tried to sign Juan Soto, too, so I'm not really picking sides here. Look, Juan got a bigger deal, so, more power to him. And I think the fact that he was a free agent at 25-year-old still kind of blows your mind. I thought negotiations there would start. I looked at Judge's AAV of 40, and you figure he was 5 years younger. So 14 times 40, 14 for 560 was like just to get in the door. You had to start there, and obviously it went up another $200 million from there. But both great players. You're going to get me in trouble making me choose. But just the two-way aspect of Shohei, which I hope we get to see this year. It's just a one-of-a-kind thing.
Well, you mentioned the Dodgers. They try to sign everybody. What was it like? You had to compete against them. In the 1 year you guys did it, and then you obviously lost in the postseason. But What was it like every year? You're going into this, and you're saying, man, we're the big, bad Giants. We have a lot of money. We can go get guys. And then you have the Dodgers that are on a completely different level of yeah, well, you guys are like the little kids down here, Giants. We're the Dodgers. So that had to put a little pressure on you in the organization, right? To try to play in the margins and find small advantages, which led, it seems like, to the platoon stuff and some of the different things you guys did, right? But, I mean, was it the Dodgers and the pressure that they put on? And listen, the Dodgers and Giants, they don't really get along very well, so.
Yeah, look, that was part of the strategy early on. I mean, when I came to the Giants, the team had been 50 games under 500 in the 2 years before I arrived. It was an aging roster. We had a big payroll. We didn't have a great farm system. So, and we weren't going to rebuild. I mean, that's just not something you do in San Francisco. So the question was, how do we compete as quickly as possible? And, one of the things that I would say at the time is we can't out-Dodger the Dodgers. They've got this head start on us. And maybe we can build the talent base to compete with them, which I think the organization has done over the last few years, or at least has moved in that direction. But, that was part of the reason we tried to be really creative with the roster and how we were managing things, because from a talent payroll perspective, we just couldn't compete with them, at least at that time. So, look, you've got 29 other organizations, not just the Giants, that have to look at the Dodgers as a standard for what they've been able to do. And it's not to say other teams can't compete, can't knock them out of the playoffs, which we've seen quite a few times in the last few years. But it's a big market team. They spend, they're smart. They do great with free agents. And I do think, LA, you have an advantage there. It's somewhere guys want to play. And they use that advantage to the maximum when they're able to bring star players in. So I think it's a fair point. And that's one of the things that I think created even more of a microscope on us getting quote unquote star players to be able to compete with, Betts and Freeman and Ohtani. And that, made that narrative an even bigger story.
If you can't beat them, join them. I mean, you've already been there, but obviously Dodger fans are like, sure, we'll take that combo again. But Farhan, thank you so much for joining us. In all seriousness, hope you have a really nice holiday, and also that you get out of the house soon. So we'll keep locked on the news, okay?
Thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate it.
Hey, everybody. Be sure to like and subscribe for more content.
We're back here every weekday, all year long, so do not miss an episode.
The videos are coming in all day. Here's another video you might enjoy.
Baseball the way it should be covered.
Dodgers planning a blockbuster move for Santander, Miller, and Horner. What's up, Dodgers Nation? Today, we've got an explosive update about the Dodgers' offseason plans. As reigning World Series champions, the goal is clear: keep the momentum and continue dominating in 2025. But what happens when key players, like Teoscar Hernandez, still have an uncertain future? Before we dive into the surprises the Dodgers front office might have in store, let me ask you this: would you trade young talent to bring elite players like Anthony Santander, Mason Miller, and Nico Horner to Los Angeles? Drop your thoughts in the comments, like the video, share it with your fellow fans, and make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss a single update this offseason. Now, let's get to it. First up, the hottest name on the list, Anthony Santander of the Baltimore Orioles. He's coming off a career-best season with 44 home runs and over 100 RBIs. At 30 years old, Santander is at his peak and seeking a 5-year deal worth around $100 million. He would be the perfect replacement for Teoscar Hernandez if the Dodgers don't re-sign him. Santander offers power at the plate and consistency, both crucial for maintaining the Dodgers' competitiveness. But that's not all. The Dodgers are also eyeing the talented Mason Miller from the Oakland Athletics. While the bullpen is in good shape, adding Miller as a potential closer could be a game-changing move. Known for his blazing fastball and ability to shut down games, Miller would be a major boost to the team. And finally, there's Nico Horner from the Chicago Cubs, an intriguing option for the infield. He could step in as shortstop if Mookie Betts moves back to the outfield or strengthen the middle infield rotation. With the Cubs looking to make trades to improve their roster, Horner emerges as a viable candidate in a strategic deal. What does this all mean? The Dodgers aren't just staying competitive, they're building an even more formidable team. If these deals come through, 2025 could see an even stronger roster ready to defend the title. Now it's your turn, Dodgers fans, are these players the missing pieces to keep the Dodgers on top, or is the price too steep? Leave your thoughts in the comments, like this video, share it with your fellow Dodgers fans, and subscribe to the channel. The offseason is heating up, and we're here to follow every move together. Go Dodgers!